Welcome to the WrestleTalk News. I'm Pete Cornell. It was a big night last night, so in today's video we'll have both the regular NXT 1 minute one take recap as well as Ollie's full regular Dynamite review. Content. And after such a big night with so many huge, notable moments, our top story today is CM Punk, who was not on either show. Makes sense to me, but this is in fact a very big update about the CM Punk and WWE situation. There'd been rumors flying about Punk joining WWE and even them being in talks, compounded with weeks of Punk-related teasers on WWE programming, from Rollins calling himself the best in the world, to Michael Cole referencing a CM Punk Ring of Honor promo, to Corey Graves referencing another of his promos, and Shinsuke Nakamura hitting a GTS on Raw. So you'd be forgiven for thinking that these are pretty overt teasers of Punk joining WWE before long, but seemingly not so, as according to both Fightful Select and House of Wrestling, CM Punk is not in talks with WWE about joining right now. Select sources reportedly were adamant that the two sides were not in talks, with a higher-up mentioning that they wanted to be clear about this because they didn't want fans setting their expectations high for Survivor Series. One source who is close to CM Punk reportedly also backed up that they weren't in talks, and that Punk was waiting to see if WWE would approach him, which seems to go slightly against what Dave Meltzer is saying on Wrestling Observer Radio, as he said directly that WWE have rejected Punk. They turned him down. He wanted to go there and the decision was a no. It can always change, and it was brought up to me, there's no such thing as no forever when it comes to WWE, but it's no for now. That was the decision that was made. It's Vince's decision, Vince, Nick Khan, Paul Levesque, and obviously they decided that the negatives outweighed the positives. But what about all those teasers on WWE TV? If it's not for a Punk return, then what's it for? Well, according to Fightful Select, the higher-up WWE source and a top WWE talent said that they believe that these weren't cleared beforehand and are probably just the wrestlers and commentators doing it themselves, with the WWE talent even mentioning that it might be done to try and get under CM Punk's skin. Well, it's certainly got people talking, so there's that, I suppose. But also, if you're not trying to set unrealistic expectations for your show in Chicago, I would maybe don't tease that something's going to happen. Might just be me, though. Meanwhile, over on Dynamite last night, there was some controversy with MJF and Juice Robinson, where Juice told MJF that he had a roll of quarters with his name on it, and then literally showed a roll of quarters with Max's name on it. People haven't taken too kindly to this segment online, with backlash accusing this segment of feeding into anti-Semitism, which is an especially hot topic given the events happening elsewhere in the world right now. Fightful is reporting that MJF cleared the segment beforehand, and AEW sources noted that it's MJF's story to tell, and he wants to tell the story on AEW's fictional television show. MJF spoke about this segment on X after the show, and there may have been a good reason why this segment aired on this episode, as it potentially could be a tie-in with an appearance Max is making later this week. Tonight, that piece of Juice Robinson decided to bring up a story from my childhood that has left me scared. I'm glad he did. He brought awareness to something we've all gone through in one way, shape, or form in our lives. On behalf of anyone who's ever been bullied for being different in any capacity, I look forward to leaving him scared too. I also look forward to this Thursday, #StandUpToJewishHate, which was accompanied with a graphic of a talk MJF will be doing on Thursday for Stand Up to Jewish Hate. And now, uncomfortable segue, it's time for my NXT 1 minute one take, where I attempt to recount everything that happened on last night's bananas episode of NXT in 1 minute and in one take. It's gonna be real hard, this one. Okay, got my 1 minute timer. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, start the timer. Cody Rhodes announced the men's breakout tournament, the return of the Dusty Classic, and that he was the GM for one night. It was interrupted by Ilya Dragunov, Rhea Ripley, and Dominic Mysterio, not all of them together though, setting up an NXT title match of Dom versus Ilya with LA Knight as a special guest ref. Asuka beat Roxanne Perez, the British Strong Brutes beat Gallus in a pub rules match, whatever that means. John Cena was interrupted by Bron Breakker and the two fight a little. The family picture match to Cody Rhodes, wait. Just stop the timer for a second, because I need to explain what's going on here. Tony D'Angelo and Stax pitched to Cody Rhodes an idea for a tag team battle royal with 10 teams involved over the top rope rules. Then when the last 2 teams are left, they then have a normal tag team match, and whoever wins that tag match would face the family at Halloween Havoc. Cody approves the idea and calls it the Bada Bing Bada Boom Battle Royal. I can't stress enough how I'm not making any of this up. Right, resume the timer. Ilya beat Dom Dom despite Judgment Day interference, and Dijak set himself up as the next challenger along with Baron Corbin. Cody made a triple threat #1 contenders match of Corbin versus Dijak versus the winner of Hayes versus Breaker. That's a timer already, because I didn't actually pause the timer. Paul Heyman seen speaking to Ava, recruiting her to the Bloodline perhaps. Jade Cargill arrived and was never seen again. Lola Vice beat Danny Palmer. Some stuff happened with Chase U and Thea Hale. Brian Pillman Jr. now is Lexus King now, and Carmelo Hayes beat Bron Breakker in the main event. And also The Undertaker was there, and chokeslam Bron Breakker, and also Solo Sikoa was there. and of course John Cena, and Paul Heyman. That's a big old show, this one. Now, over to Ollie for Dynamite.
It's Wednesday. You know what that means. Well, the day after NXT usually, but not today because... sports. Baseball. So this Wednesday, you know what that means. My review of AEW Dynamite Title Tuesday's special in about 5 minutes. My new father and yours, Christian, opened the show in the production truck, running down tonight's card and giving us the gift of the first 30 minutes commercial-free. Thank you, Christian. Please enjoy our mothers. That meant we got to see all of the excellent opening match between Swerve Strickland and Bryan Danielson. It's a shame Swerve lost, as you could have had him go on a winning streak after beating Hangman to build him for MJF, but they did protect him in defeat with Hangman Page taking the crown, and Danielson versus Christian on Saturday makes far more sense. Even with Bryan's predictable win though, as Christian versus Swerve on Saturday would be heel versus heel, the match was so enjoyable. Strickland's offense is uniquely innovative, Danielson's selling was sublime, and the pace was frenetic. Hopefully Swerve gets the rub here and continues to rise up the card. Samoa Joe announced he's coming for the AEW Championship again in a vignette. Powerhouse Hobbs absolutely dominated Chris Jericho, hitting 6 spinebusters and 2 World's Strongest Slams to win, almost casually with a knee across Jericho's face. No offense, QTV, but this is how Hobbs should have been booked when he won the TNT title earlier this year. Jericho was later taken to Kayfabe Hospital because of his injuries, and Daddy Magic got annoyed with Daniel Garcia for showing concern. Of course, this episode wasn't just Title Tuesday, it was actually part of AEW's larger Let's Get the Belts Off Reportedly Injured Champions Week 2. Orange Cassidy replaced a still not medically cleared Jon Moxley to face Rey Fenix for the International Championship, which he neatly won back almost exactly a year to the day after he first won it. It's almost like they planned it, but they didn't because of all the injuries. While this was a lot more back and forth than FTR's 5-minute tag title loss on Collision, there was the same sense of oddness you can't really escape when you're forced into booking yet another title change. He wasn't meant to win it in the first place, and now he's likely had to drop it because of his own injuries. Hopefully Cassidy can restore some much-needed consistency back to this belt. Toni Storm debuted her 2-part black and white silent film Lover's Lament, which saw her solo mime act a story about trying to get to her lover. I think. The placement of a silent film in a picture-in-picture ad break is very smart. But doing an actual silent film with other actors, more than just one static shot and title cards, would have made this much better. It's like the people involved in making this have heard that silent films used to be a thing, but never actually watched one to understand which tropes to use. Wardlow sees your Jericho squash match, Hobbs, and does it quicker, beating Matt Sydal with a bunch of powerbombs. Hangman Page had a really good match against Jay White, further cementing that group of main event wrestlers vying for the #1 contendership position. Page sold his knee very well throughout the match, but it was Prince Nana getting revenge from the Swerve match earlier, hitting him with the crown that allowed White to get the win. MJF then came out at level 10 intensity and then somehow increased several more notches by the end of the segment. He demanded his Triple B back from White and talked about how he's trying to be a better person, neatly using the same looking in the mirror to ask myself if I'm the bad guy line he had in his CM Punk feud. CM Punk AEW return confirmed. Jay said MJF can have the belt back if he can find 3 other friends to face the Bang Bang Gang in an 8-man tag, which Max Caster volunteered the Acclaimed for later on. Expertly listing the matches we can expect from this feud, Juice Robinson then said he's coming for Max's beloved diamond ring in the annual Battle Royal next week, and that he's got a roll of quarters with Friedman's name on. In a really well-performed outburst, this touched a nerve for MJF. He's spoken twice in an AEW ring about his experience of anti-Semitic bullying at school, where coins were thrown at him. Combine that with Juice's fistful of quarters being his weapon of choice, and it creates a very emotionally charged angle. Max's storylines continue to be the best thing on Dynamite, not just making everyone around him infinitely more interesting, but also being so three-dimensional you can reference anti-Semitism in one segment and have Adam Cole goofily mowing Roderick Strong's lawn the next. Max was becoming increasingly frustrated, unable to reach Cole on the phone. And Sheeta's the new AEW Women's Champion again. She beat Saraya after Toni Storm chased off Ruby Soho and several very good near falls. Hopefully this time it's an actual reign, not just another transitional one. And the main event had Adam Copeland beating Luchasaurus in his in-ring AEW debut, which was followed by all the brawling. But before then, Christian cut a pre-match promo both referencing how lame Edge's Judgment Day run was and telling Copeland's wife Beth Phoenix to put clean sheets on the bed because he's going to be Edge's daughter's new father. Motherfucker. Literally. Copeland's match layout was typically superb, getting jumped before the bell for a prolonged build to his comeback. The finish was excellently done too, where Copeland stopped Christian using the belt on him, hit Luchasaurus over the back of the head with it, then threw it back to Christian, making Luchasaurus think it was his mentor who struck him. That let Copeland hit the spear to win. Then half the roster came down to brawl, with the show going off-air on Christian wildly tapping to Danielson's LeBell Lock, a great visual sell for their TNT title match this Saturday. This week's Dynamite was hugely enjoyable at 80%. Now go watch Luke and Dan talking spooky Halloween movies.
Coming up on today's show, it is horror spooky ooky season, and we're going to be taking you through this month's big releases, including some horror classics back on the big screen.
We'll be letting you know about some classic re-releases we have to celebrate Black History Month.